Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the ripples of the narcissistic relationship. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So usually when discussing narcissism, we are focusing on the relationship and how it affected us. And many times we don't take a moment to think about the casualties of the relationship, which of course starts with us, but it's littered all throughout these narcissistic relationships. And I'm going to jump right in right now and explain to you what this means. The ripples of the narcissistic relationship, they started with you. When you entered that relationship with the narcissist, most likely you didn't know that narcissism was prevalent on the planet. You didn't even know that what a narcissist was, and you were a trusting, kind, loving, empathetic person. The narcissist saw this, they sized you up, they got into a relationship with you, or they entered a relationship, and the next thing you know, you fall in love with them or relocate or start a business. Whatever you did, you got close to them, or they got really close to you. You became attached to them. They never became attached to you because they can't fall in love. What they want to do is weaponize everything that you possess against you. And then lo and behold, you found yourself being devalued more and more each and every day. And over time, your resources took a huge hit, which again includes your time, money, energy, effort, love, empathy, your status, your social circle. Everything was blowing up left, right, and center, your health. And then the narcissist went on to the new supply. That's the microcosm of a narcissistic abusive relationship. And you were left holding the bag. You were left putting yourself back together. You were trying to process what had just happened to you, how the love of your life could have betrayed you, how this person who turned out to be the narcissist, in fact, doesn't have the ability to love, how they could wear the mask so long, effortlessly, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, how they could manipulate you, how you were duped and tricked and trapped and taken advantage of. You had to process all those things. And then again, like I shared recently in the videos, you found the needle in the haystack. You figured out that the person you were with was a toxic, narcissistic person. And this is their nature. This is what they do. That's how they springboard from relationship to relationship all over the globe. They leave a wake of destruction in their past. Now, along the way of the wake of destruction that the narcissist leaves in the past, or their path, there are ripples, and these ripples are endless. They are sincerely timeless. There are so many ripples. One would be, think about the people before you met the narcissist, the people that were in your life, maybe immediate family members, maybe colleagues or coworkers or friends you've had for decades. Almost every one of these people was affected by the relationship that you were a part of. Many of these people would have met the narcissist. Again, you didn't know they were a narcissist when you entered the relationship with them. But these people would have met the narcissist, and some of them would have been fooled themselves. Some of them would have believed in the mask that the narcissist was wearing. Other people would have had their spidey senses tingling because perhaps they went through a challenging relationship or other challenging relationships in the past, and they wanted nothing to do with the narcissist, but yet they could not tell you this. Really understand what I'm sharing with you. Many times people who are in these narcissistic relationships, they ask themselves, well, what's going on? Why didn't anybody tell me that I married a narcissist? Or why didn't anyone tell me that this person didn't have my best interest at heart? Or why didn't anyone tell me that this person was doing things behind my back? The reason why that happens frequently, although not always, is because when you are in the narcissistic fog, or you're already married, or you are in love, or you're believing that this person is who you want to believe they are, if somebody came along, no matter who it was, your own child, your mom, your dad, a friend from 30 years, coworker, colleague, somebody, anybody, if someone had told you, hey, I think you're in a really challenging relationship, you would have done one of a few things, most likely. One, you would have doubted them. You would have said, no way, that's not my spouse. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm in a great relationship. But in the back of your mind, you would have been scratching your head saying, wait a minute, I do know there are red flags there. I do know that there are concerns, but how did this person know that? They're not in my house every day when I go home and experience rage fits and the silent treatment and be gaslit and stonewalled, and I get all the toxicity. But yet they were, this person who you're thinking about, they were watching you and they knew you very well. But would you have believed them back then? You probably wouldn't have. That's number one. Number two, you could have taken the defensive side. You could have said, you don't know what you're talking about, and you could have shut that person out of your life, the person that was trying to tip you off that perhaps you married a narcissist. Because that's what happens sometimes, because when you're in the narcissistic relationship, you are so loyal to a fault. You are believing in the mask and the false narrative of the narcissist. You don't want to believe in anything other than what the narcissist has told you. And that is exactly why many times you are isolated from your own network of friends. That's why the narcissist wants to relocate you halfway around the world. That's why they don't want you enjoying your hobbies. That's why they don't want you doing anything after work other than coming right home and being in the energy of the narcissist, because the narcissist doesn't want or didn't want you to ever figure them out. And if somebody was about to tip you off, or if somebody did tip you off, you most likely wouldn't have believed them because you were in it too deep. You were already in the narcissistic fog and you were believing in the mask. And that's exactly where the narcissist placed you. Having said that, the next thing is, maybe you did go down the rabbit hole of exploration if somebody tried to tip you off. I doubt it. I sincerely doubt that that's what you did. But if you did, drop comments below. But if you did, then what would happen? Well, your life's about to change rapidly and radically, because if you actually did go down the rabbit hole of exploration while you were in the relationship and you found out that this person you married or whoever you're thinking about was a narcissist, that changed your life forever. When that happened, you did one of a couple things. Either A, you monitored that relationship and perhaps you started taking notes about the person and their behaviors, and all these behaviors were checking the boxes of the videos you were watching or the content you were reading or the therapist you were talking to. But then again, you were in the deep end. You didn't want to believe it. You needed to break free from the narcissist, but you didn't know how. Maybe you were financially dependent upon them. Maybe they held all the cards when it came to money. Maybe you had kids with them and you didn't want to leave until the kids reached a certain age. There are many reasons why people stay in these relationships, including when they've identified that their partner is a narcissist or somebody they're thinking about. But this is where the narcissist wanted you. They wanted you trapped. They wanted you kidnapped. They wanted you kept hostage, a mental hostage, an emotional hostage, a spiritual hostage, a financial hostage. And they wanted to make sure that they kept you pinned down for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. But there are ripples all throughout the narcissistic relationship. Those are just a few. Another one, think about all of the time that you spent in the narcissistic relationship. Think about all the things you did. Think about all of the places you went to, all the holidays you celebrated, all the birthdays you celebrated, all the barbecues or events or trips you took. Was the narcissist actually there with you? Of course they were. They were physically with you. Were they mentally with you? I doubt it. Maybe for little glimpses here and there, but usually when you go on these kind of getaways, what happens is the narcissist will be there with you, and they will be there physically with you at times, not always, but they're going to be checked out. They're going to be taking selfies or be on their smartphones, and they're going to be trying to post pictures using 30 different filters. They won't be spending quality time with you usually, although every once in a while they will do that. But that's a ripple effect too, because now post-relationship, you have to really unwind all that experience that you had with the narcissist. Was it what you thought it was? Was it real to you? Was the narcissist actually present mentally when they were with you? Were they watching you, trying to see what your reactions were? Were they living for the moment, or were they living in the present moment? I can tell you right now, the narcissist was living for the moment. And exactly what I share in the videos is this: when you were with them, it's what you provided for them. It's the opportunities you presented for them, like trips or houses or cars, or making them feel better, taking them out to restaurants, buying them clothes. It's not always about money. It's about what you provide for the narcissist. Here's a huge one: the verbal abuse. Verbal abuse isn't mentioned nearly enough, in my opinion, on the narcissistic abusive cycle. The narcissist needs to regulate themselves. And one of the ripples of being in the narcissistic relationship is unwinding all of the verbal abuse that they peppered you with throughout the relationship. The narcissist has very little tolerance for the word no. They don't like boundaries, and they believe that they own people. Having said that, many times when the narcissist wouldn't get their way, they would maybe throw a rage fit on you and use vulgar words and tell you negative things that I don't want to repeat here. But they would say these things to try to break you down, to try and get you to bully you into believing that what you're thinking wasn't real. That's why the narcissist, when the narcissist hears reality, like when you call them out, and I would suggest not calling them out, but when you really tell them something, when you're in the relationship, you try to put a boundary up, you're going to experience one of three things. One, you're going to get the silent treatment, and because that indicates that they know that you're right. but they're going to play the long waiting game and drag it out and blame it on you. And so what you will do is eventually you'll cower and you'll go apologize for something you didn't do, essentially calling them out. Number two, what you'll experience is a rage fit, and you'll have that person just pepper you with verbal abuse, and they will tell you why they shouldn't have married you, why they shouldn't have been with you, and etc. And your mom told you that they shouldn't have married you, all the things like that. Or number three is they're going to give you word salad. And if you experience any of these things when you were in the relationship, or maybe you're in the relationship now, drop comments below, because those are the only three outcomes. The narcissist will never, and I repeat, never sit down and have an adult conversation with you. They are never going to be honest or authentic or genuine. They will play any kind of game they can play with you to keep you trapped, to keep you off the scent of the narcissist. But when you're post-narcissistic relationship, when you're healing, you have to really unwind all that verbal abuse. Was it real, what they said? The words were real, but they were probably either A, talking about themselves, or B, just really trying to hammer you because they know how invaluable your energy is, and they try to take it from you. On top of that, the narcissist at their core, they are anxiety riddled, they're shallow, and they're hollow. There is no substance to the narcissist. How many intelligent conversations did you have with the narcissist when you were with them? I would bet it would be less than 10. And even if you had that many, that would be a high number, because the narcissist would always be throwing you off balance. They would be future faking or telling you, yeah, we'll do A, B, and C. And then when it's time to do A, B, and C, I never said that. What are you talking about? Or they would say, hey, I think we should do this, this, and this with your money, while they're squirreling away their money. And what happens there is you believe it because you think that this person is in love with you and they want your best interest at heart. Nothing could be further from the truth. They're just trying to use your money and burn up your resources while they're taking all their money, put it in the bank, or hiding it in different accounts, or purchasing items that you'll never know about. This is what the narcissist does. So the ripple effects of the narcissistic relationship, they are vast and wide. Think about your children, if you had kids with the narcissist, or maybe you're a grandparent. Are you allowed to see the kids now? Probably not. That's called parental alienation. What that means is the narcissist knows where to inflict the most damage on you. And by you not seeing the kids or the grandkids, they are isolating you from their family, and they're sending a clear message not only to you, but to their kids, that you are not welcome in their lives any longer. This is what happens. I hear it so frequently during the weeks and weeks of one-on-one sessions. Parental alienation is a real thing. And I will tell you this, with the narcissist, if you're having custody concerns with the narcissist, you're trying to divorce them, or you want custody from with your children or child, the narcissist is going to do two things there, usually, not always. One is they're going to try their best to get the most custody. Why? Because they don't want you to have the children. They don't want you to raise them the proper way. And number two, if they can get that, it's going to inflict more damage to you. These are other ripple effects of the narcissistic relationship. The ripples go on and on and on. And when you are healing post-narcissistic relationship, you sincerely have to slow your life down. You have to unwind all of the abuse, all of the gaslighting, all of the smear campaign, all of the verbal abuse, all of the strange behaviors of the narcissist, all of the unaccountable disappearances of the narcissist, all of the strange texts that they would pepper you with. Was the text sent on purpose? Was it an alleged butt text or butt dial, if you get my point? The narcissist is cunning, and they're always scheming to get one over on people. They're always looking to manipulate people. But post-narcissistic relationship, there are ripples vast and wide that you will have to process. You will have to slow your life down and understand that that relationship, you cannot just enter another relationship. There's a huge void that must be filled. There is education that must be acquired. There's wisdom that must be applied. And all of this information that I'm sharing with you is what is provided for you on the channel and in the community. If you've been through the narcissistic abusive cycle, you know what I'm talking about. When you've healed and healed properly and reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, when you no longer care about the narcissist or anything from that period of time, that's when you can say to yourself, wow, that relationship almost took me down. It really did, but it didn't, and I'm here. And God bless you, you tried your best, narcissist, but you failed. You failed miserably. And you thought that I would be another one of the Barbie dolls or Ken dolls that you could place up on the shelf and come down and play with me when you wanted to. That is not what happened here. I broke the chains. I broke the trauma bond. I discovered who you really are. I saw behind the mask. I healed. I introspected. I rebuilt my life. I am in the third version of myself, the strongest, most galvanized version known to humankind. Not everybody gets there, Many people that go through the narcissistic abusive cycle, and when they've healed properly and they've slowed their life down, they do reach the pinnacle of indifference, the third version of themselves. But that will take time. It will take a lot of time, but in your time you will arrive there if you utilize the tools that are provided for you here. The whole point of this video is to let you know the ripple effects of the narcissistic relationship. They're everywhere, from broken relationships with kids, broken relationships with family members, broken hearts, financial abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse. Maybe you had to relocate, maybe you had to start a new job, maybe you had to start from scratch, maybe you had to give up things to the narcissist because it was just easier, meaning maybe you just packed up one day and left because you were smart and you had resources and you could leave. So you had an exit plan and you accomplished it, but you left certain things in the house. Well, these things would be casualties of the relationship, because now you have to figure out, is it worth it for you to try and get those items back and open up the door to the narcissist again? Or is it better off to write those off and know that they will be casualties of the narcissistic relationship and other ripple effects from the relationship? My take there is, if they're not valuable, write them off. Let them stay wherever the narcissist is. And even if they are valuable, if you have financial security, let them stay wherever they are. Now, I'm not suggesting or mentioning to you to give the narcissist everything. I wouldn't do that at all. I would say if you have an exit plan, and if you are about to introduce the exit plan and execute it, make sure you take the valuables, make sure you take the birth certificates, make sure you take documents and credit card bills and all these things that I share with on one-on-one sessions. The point being, there are many ripple effects of the narcissistic relationship. There are many casualties of the narcissistic relationship. Usually people think about themselves only in the beginning. That's what I did, and I'm sure that's what you are doing or you were doing. But if you really go down the rabbit hole of exploration and of education, you will find out there are so many casualties and so many ripples of that one narcissistic person that entered your life for a period of time, and they duped and manipulated virtually everybody in your family or everybody that you knew. And then when they took everything they possibly could from you, they crumbled you up like a sheet of paper and threw you away in the freeway, and they went on to the new supply, never ever thinking you would heal, never ever thinking you would put yourself back together, never ever thinking that you would identify that they're a narcissist. But a funny thing happened. You did it. You're on the channel. You made it this far in the video. You're getting the wisdom. You're becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and you understand that that relationship is a relationship that you needed to heal from. You couldn't just put a Band-Aid over it. You couldn't just let time go by and you were good. No, you had to process things. You had to process childhood wounds. You had to journal. You had to meditate. You had to exercise. You had to see a therapist. You had to watch videos. You had to read. You had to become an expert on knowing that that relationship that you were a part of checked all of the boxes on the education you're acquiring. And that's why these relationships are so challenging, toxic, and it takes a long, long time for you to process things and unwind all the ripples of the narcissistic relationship. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the windy Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. God bless you all. I love you. And understand there are so many ripples and the ripple effects of the narcissistic relationship. It always starts with you thinking about how it affected you, and that's where it should start. And to be honest with you, that's where it should end. But once you process that or begin to process that, then you look around you and you say to yourself, wow, that actually affected my relationship with my neighbor, with the school teacher, with my friend from 30 years, with my job, with my health. The ripple effects go on and on and on. And the further you get away from the narcissistic relationship, the more light bulb moments you will have and the more clarity you'll have in your mind. And you'll understand that one of the best things that ever happened was you exiting that relationship, removing yourself from it and healing, because now you are in the third version of yourself, the strongest, most galvanized version known to humankind. Everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the windy Carolinas. This is Andrew. I said it twice. I love you guys. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye, you guys. It's cold too. It's really cold.